Danny and Sam, come on up.
I'm gonna say no break. Is that okay? Thank you.
Live your best life. Do whatever you want.
Come on, Sam. I'm gonna say no break for this because the time is running out, and we have Sam here, and then I want Adiya and Achea to stay close because again we're gonna shoot from the hip. Is that okay? That's how we do it at the Wave. That's okay with everybody? What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a panel with the three wonderful women that are here because I'm sure some of you have some questions for them, and I want you to be able to ask that. Is that cool? Is that cool with everybody? So I'm gonna shut up, tell them your story, tell them who you are, and then I'll chime in from time to time.
Okay. Hello, thank you for having me here. Thank you for having me here. My name's Samantha Werner, Sam, and I really love health. I'm pretty obsessed with it. And I think if I could summarize everything, my goal is to make natural health solutions accessible. And by accessible, I think simple, low risk, affordable, effective, and oftentimes the people who are in healthcare positions don't know about those things for a variety of reasons. So I've had a lot of people who have believed in me and a lot of people who have been great mentors, and some of them have been just fascinating hippie herbalists, yogis, chiropractors, naturopaths, health store, food owners. So I've been brainwashed probably from the age of 10 on. And at that time, my father he had gone to a naturopathic physician and came home with all these bottles, like homeopathic remedies and cell salts, and I was like, what is this mess? And his prescription was to not eat meat, wheat, or dairy, which was absurd to a child who would eat like the whole steak by herself. I was like, this is a mess. And then I got really curious, and so people just kept feeding me breadcrumbs, and I've been hooked ever since.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I love her story because every time we have talked, you said it started with your dad. You know what I mean? I know a little bit about your dad. I know a little bit about the past history and what's happening with. What launched you into doing the business that you do from that time? So that little girl that's 10 years old to the woman now that's leading your business, what was that connection?
Well, I'm pretty fresh in the business scene. I still have a day job, and I would like to make this my full-time gig. My business is consulting, education, adventure. Still kind of figuring out what that means. I do teach women's health classes. I have consulted with a handful of clients. But I need a life. Like, I need a house and a car and all those things that I'm sure you all want too. And I want to make it a successful venture because since I care, I want to be able to keep caring in a way that gives me the most freedom to share that message with people. So I just need to be successful so I can share what I love and help as many people as possible.
That's amazing. And this mindset of a side hustle, right? And so I love that she says she has a job. I'm going to say that again. She has a job. I got to say that loud for people in the camera. She has a job. And I think a lot of times what was that transition like? Because I know, hey, I want to do this really bad, but I know I have to still pay bills. Because I think especially in the young entrepreneurship world, a lot of folks is just like, and they come to myself and Mike, and John has seen this, you guys get to hear from John, like, I'm going to be this entrepreneur, and I'm going to go take over the world. And I'm like, dude, how you pay your car? How do you pay your house? And they're like, I don't know, but I have this great idea. You know what I mean? And so what made you like think of, I have this great idea, but I also need a stable job? I mean, because in the person of the entrepreneurship, and especially in Columbus, that's not there. A lot of folks should just jump head in. What is keeping you from jumping head in and being careful with that? You know what I mean? What that looks like.
I feel the pressure to be an adult. And so, yeah, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs, and so they've done it in a very methodical way. And I'll let you know how the transition goes because I am quitting my day job, as you know. And so
I was wanting that to come out. I didn't want to say it. I wanted her to say it.
So I'll be moving to Denver in January, and my hope is that this could be a portable business. There's many people on the internet doing this. There's so many bloggers, vloggers, online courses. So sometimes I get really overwhelmed, like, why should I be just another one? But then I read the book Big Magic, and if you're familiar with Brene Brown, you're probably also familiar with Elizabeth Gilbert, and she talks about how it's just a calling. If you're a creative person, which we're all creative people, actually, you just make this decision that it feels good to create and to serve, and so you should just do it for that sake. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
That's powerful. I love the fact that Adiya and Achea hit that point, right? I'm not doing this just to get money. I'm not doing this. It's my passion. It's who I am, and it's just coming out in a product. It's just coming out and writing a book, but it's really me. And I think people don't understand that because within us, there are people. I'm going to say that again. There are people inside of us, right? And they are trying to be released because they need to hear our voice. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people attached to us that we don't know. If we don't step out in that faith and we don't step out in that world, then the people that are attached to us all over the world miss out on us. And you said something to me earlier. There's a lot of people doing what I'm doing, right? You said that to me earlier.
Right.
And what was my response to you?
But you're the only one who can do it the way you do it.
Right? And
Yeah.
that's the key. A lot of times we see something that someone else is doing and we see our dream, we see their dream, and we're like, yeah, but I'm just going to own a restaurant. There's like a million restaurants. Yeah, but it's not your restaurant. Right? And it's not people hearing from you. And you can have the same 25 ideas, but 25 different people are going to do it 25 different ways because it's them. And I think once you're sure that it's me, that I just want to say this, you have a voice, right? When you finally realize that I find my voice, what Achea's done is find a voice. What Adiya's done, you find your voice in your product. And every person that's putting that product in their face, I haven't tried it myself. Is it for boys? Is it for guys? All right, come on, I'm gonna try it then. Listen, I'm in like Flynn, baby. I'm in like Flynn. I'm buying one for Christmas. Anyway, Christmas gifts. So, listen, I'm serious because I think a lot of times we don't understand. Putting that product in your face is your voice in their house. When somebody buys Achea's book, it's Achea's voice in that person's house. My voice, and I think one of the secrets that we can unlock this in entrepreneurship, just find your own voice. And once you find that, unleash it to the world. You know what I mean? And so, last question, and then I'm gonna have some of the ladies come up. You love women's health, especially. So tell us a little bit about what that looks like. You know what I mean? What are some of the things that you deal with women? Mm-hmm. And I know you deal a lot with the emotional part of it. You know what I mean? Tell us what that looks like and why that passion for the women's health.
It's just an entry point, and it's something that I've had personal experiences with since I am a woman. So I have this webinar called Natural Woman in the Modern World, and life is working against us in so many ways. So the idea is to point out where can you make a difference in simple ways, from the fragrances you use to the shampoo that you put on your hair to the rituals you go through throughout your day to the food that you eat to where you purchase your food to who you spend time with to how you're spending your day. So it sort of introduces all these factors that are health that you might not get a chance to talk about with your doctor, or might not realize that you have the ability to change in small bits every day. Yeah, there's a lot of modalities that women aren't aware of either. Like, Mayan abdominal massage is so awesome.
What is that? Awesome. Tell us, what is that?
Has anybody heard of that? See, and ask your doctor if they've heard of that. But there's a hand somewhere back there.
Tell us. How many want to know what that is? The lady says, spill it. Come on.
So it is a practice of self-care. You're scooping, and men can do this as well, using your hands upwards from the pubic bone to the belly button. And it's for women, properly placing the uterus. For men, it has to do with circulation and ability of the prostate. So, I mean, you might laugh now, but when you get older, there's a lot of people who really care about these things. Or if you're trying to get pregnant, or if you ask a handful of your friends how many women have challenges with PCOS or endometriosis, or, and then that plays into your mental state of health. So if you had known that you could have potentially avoided surgery by using your own hands every evening before bed, I feel like that's pretty powerful, and that my doctor should have told me about that.
Come on, girl.
Yeah.
Come on, girl. All right, now listen. So it sounded great. I just don't get it yet. So you're using your own hand.
Okay.
Like, I mean,
Okay,
you gotta like,
Yes.
what do? You like punch yourself in the stomach? What's up?
I'll finish. So you should experience this for yourself, number one.
Okay.
And number two, so you place it's just on top of your skin, so scooping in either direction, it makes more sense if you're lying down on a table.
Okay.
It also affects your digestive system because the digestive system also needs proper room. Like a lot of the organs don't have space in order to do what they need to do because people don't hold themselves properly, they don't breathe with the diaphragm, which if you want to change your life right now, you should all learn how to do that.
I want to pause this. I want her to, how many want to learn how to breathe right? Like seriously.
So you just
like
take...
this actually changed my life. Like when she showed me how to do it, it changed me. So can you have them do the exercise?
Okay, and you should care because it affects your whole metabolism and your mental state. And if you go to a counselor, so one hand on the lower belly, below your belly button.
Come on.
And you might want to close your eyes because if you do it in reverse, you're going to be like, I don't know how to do this.
Close your eyes.
Try to just lift and lower your abdomen. Like raising, making like a little kid. Like you make your belly as fat as you can, and then you make yourself as skinny as you can. Okay, now inhale and exhale through your nose. If you've ever taken a yoga class, your yoga teacher will say, oh, your nose, it's a natural filter, it warms the air, it's filtering toxins, blah, blah, blah. So now you want to inhale through your nose while you also make your belly really fat like a balloon. And try to hear the sound of your breath. And then when you exhale through your nose, you press the belly button to the spine using your muscles. So is that like a brain switch for some people? Because 8 out of 10 people breathe solely with the chest, which means that you live in a state of constant fight or flight. Anyways, I'm going to make a video on this stuff. There's other speakers. So this is what I like. I like
That's
educating
amazing,
people.
right? Come on. Testing 1, 2. Am I there? Okay. I know we have some questions, so we got the ladies up here.
Personally, like I said, I'm motivated. I've always been in everything I've ever done through college, law school, my time living in Japan. I've been motivated by this desire to connect with people and to serve, which is a common thread, I think, among women on this panel. But also, personally, deep down, this desire for growth. And I think we all have that desire, whether that desire leads us to new careers or to build products or to write books or move to Denver and save the world through health, or just, or smaller and less obvious changes. I think we all have that deep down inside. And so once you feel that push to grow and the direction is obvious, it's almost impossible to hold yourself back without actually getting sick. So personally, that's what motivated me. I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
So I think y'all can hear me, right? All right. They need. Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm gonna go. Obviously, you probably know by just hearing me up here that I'm a pretty introspective, deep kind of person. So I'm about to answer your question really, really in a deep way. So just flow with me here. Since I was a little girl, I've always been very justice driven. There's just this moral compass inside of me that when I saw something or someone being mistreated or something that wasn't right in my world, there was this thing in me that just wanted to make it right. And my father, he taught me a lot of Black history growing up. And one of the women that I really resonated with was Harriet Tubman. And I was telling my husband this last night because I have this shirt that I was going to wear tonight that it said "We Out," and then it had Harriet Tubman. And I really, really loved the shirt because I loved her and with her life. And for me, it was almost that's how I saw myself. That's how I still see myself. So I would do this for free. Leanne back there in the red jacket, she plans all of my events. And when we first came together, she had to make me charge people $5 because I would do this for free, because for me, giving a voice to people who don't have a voice yet or who haven't found theirs, and kind of like making their world right, like that's what got me up. That's what keeps me up at night, and that's what wakes me up in the morning. And it's just that fire in my soul to just want to make this world right. And so whether or not I ever get paid for it or not, like I would literally like not worry about the 100 that don't get the real girl's fart to save the one who does. So.
Sam, you want to answer that?
You are truly a preacher's daughter.
Got him. That's awesome.
I love it. I love the conviction and humility from both of you. And I hope that in 20 or 30 years I can look back and have such insights to share.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
I think you're taking this the wrong way, Achea.
So good. So good.
Was that the shaded? That was like the most direct shade I've ever received in my entire life.
That's
But it's
so.
okay. I get it. That's fine.
Got it. My goodness. Woo. All right. Who else has a question? Raise your hands. Raise your hands, please. I need you to raise your hands. Yes.
Hey everyone. So each of you, I'll let Achea is still recovering. So each of you are like incredibly capable on your own, but how do you know like when to start a team? And what do you look for in team members? Are they like complementary to your skill set? Are they totally different? Like, can you tell me about that?
Great question.
Well, you are hitting on a very sore subject for me, so thank you very much. I think when you are raised as a strong, independent woman, you get a phenomenal education. You start a career that's, focused on being independent and serving others. It becomes very challenging to shift your mindset and recognize that you need help from other people too, right? And so like I mentioned, I've been blessed in building this product to have folks who selflessly contributed their talents and their skill sets. But it has been very hard for me to accept help. And that's this relates back to what were the biggest challenges, sort of getting out of my own way. I mentioned things like packaging design. I designed my own packaging. I had no business designing my own packaging. It worked out, but I did it because I wanted control over it. Some of the marketing I wanted control over. And so now I'm at a point, we have gotten a lot of kind of national attention. We were named one of Time Magazine's 50 Best Inventions of the Year. And so now all eyes are on the business. Thank you. All eyes are on the business, and it's time to staff up. So if anyone is looking for a job, come see me. And I pretty much need everyone. So that's a really good question, because building a team and surrounding yourself with the right people, although they're two slightly different topics, both very, very important. I think right now, the sort of biggest team support that I have is my husband, who is woefully underpaid. But so he's employee number one. He has no benefits. I am the benefit. Yeah, did you hear her? No.
Woo!
No, but no, I'm sorry, not to ramble on and on, but that's an excellent question. That building a team, finding the people to support you is critical. And if anyone has a better answer, I am open.
I don't have any answers. But quickly, just this past year, I realized that I met two people who shared a similar vision. And the previous year, I had begun my website. And once I met them and we started talking, things moved so quickly. Yeah, I would love to help people get more connected with their bodies in a way that gets them in touch with that intelligence. So I know the dancer over here, I imagine, has some experience with that.
Here you go.
Yeah. Hi. My name's Brian. I have the fortune of being able to have a little group that gets together every week, and we talk about ways that we might all get together and change the world. No small task, right? But one of the key ones is wellness, and what you said really hit a nerve, because one of the fellows was talking about we're working on mental health matters, and we rather quickly realized that we have to attack the entire wellness issue because of the stigma. And he said inside the black community, there's a suck it up and you don't show it. You deal with it yourself. That way of attacking the stigma, to me, it's constantly on my mind. Like, how do we do it? How do we get out there? How do we make a difference? How do we start going after, in particular in the black community, how do we get somebody to even come to, like, let's say we had an awareness kiosk and we talk about, beauty and holistic healthcare and so on. How do we get them to even come to the kiosk? How do we even get them to walk in and engage? I'd love insight into that. I'd love for you to be in our Junto. I'd be so happy. It's so important because it doesn't do you any good to put an infrastructure in and to get all this energy behind it if you can't engage.
I want to let Achea answer this, but I heard you say you can ask me. So there's a lot of folks in the audience too that are passionate about this. So I'm going to let them talk, and then I'm going to introduce you, and then you can answer that too. So Achea, you want to handle that first?
Sure. Yeah. I was just I want to say a couple things. First of all, thank you for all the work that you are doing and for all the thought that you are putting into trying to do this. Believe it or not, like, in my opinion, that's one of the ways to really starting to try to get in front of this epidemic, because it is a huge crisis in our country right now. There are the epidemic in the crisis in this country is way bigger, and I mean, just per capita than we have workers and actually volunteers, right? And so just like, a few stats, like I just in October partnered with Nationwide Children's Hospitals on Our Sleeves campaign for pediatric mental and behavioral health. And I'm one of the, thank you, Manny.
That was random, but that's
and we're doing a lot of great things with that and in that space. But I will say to you that we got to have more people that look like me having these conversations and being willing to, and that's just the really frank, candid answer, is that there's not enough of us that are willing to actually come out, and reveal, like, what's been going on. And one of the things, I was in therapy a couple days ago, and I was sharing this with Michael that I took away. My therapist said to me that what makes dysfunction is not the things that happen in a family. It's the things that we don't talk about in a family, right? And so that's what makes dysfunction. And so don't think, don't feel, don't discuss. And there are so many secrets, in particular in black families and minority families. Asian families go through the same thing. Jewish families, because it's this whole thing. So I think having more people, and I also think we have to be vulnerable, okay? And I think, when we are actually more vulnerable and more transparent, because I can't even tell you like how many conversations that I've started, and it's gonna take having really, really tough conversations, right? And so it definitely is a growing problem. I think one of the conversations that's probably gonna start to happen is the preventative side of things, right? So so the conversation right now, everybody wants to jump in on it now because we have like this huge crisis, right? But the only way we can even get in front of the crisis is to actually start having the preventative conversation. So we need to start doing parenting classes, right? And how to attack the nucleus of the family. See, I done stood up now, y'all, but I'm on my little soapbox. But how we can actually go in and reform the nucleus of the family, because most of the minority families, in particular African American families, are headed by women, right? So we have to go in and try to retrain them, because what's the point in talking to a kid and trying to teach them new coping skills and new this and new that if the family is jacked up? So we're sending them right back into a jacked up environment, right? So that we've got to teach them new skills to try to, and also teach the parents. But guess what? Here's the problem. It's not just the minorities. It's the rich families in New Albany too that need the parenting classes, that want everything to be okay because they don't think that it's okay not to be okay. So it's like this whole thing of like, you know, this dysfunctional kind of repetitive cycle that we're in, and like just having more and more people just kind of with hands, you know, just ready to help, ready to serve, getting in there and getting their hands dirty. Because nobody wants to talk about mental health or do anything about it because it's not sexy.
Well, you know, they say for every 100,000 people that say that the way they feel during that day affected their day.
Yeah.
That their depression or their anxiety didn't allow them to perform well that day, we have one professional worker.
Yes.
For every 100,000, it's massive imbalance.
Massive imbalance. And it's not just, and the other issue too is like we have to start looking at this as also a physical issue. It's real. Just because we can't see it, it's real, right? So it's just this whole country's mindset. We are slowly getting there. But if you continue to do what you're doing, and the more people that kind of just catch the burden, if you will, then I think that it'll kind of spread like wildfire.
And I think that there's a need for, there's so many organizations right now trying to do a little something around mental health. I think we got to do some unification. Yes. You know, bring these messages together somehow.
Yeah.
I agree. Brittany from the Urban League. What do you have to say?
What was the question again?
It was around the stigma of mental health issues in the body. How we get people to the age. If we put in a service, how we get them to come. There's this big stigma where it says we don't talk about it, we don't let it acknowledge it.
Within the past couple years, I've stepped into the world of mindfulness and learned a lot about just being able to maintain like a healthy diet, physical regimen, and like focused mind. And prior to that, well, I had like constant depression and anxiety, panic attacks, and stuff like that. And a lot of this was due to just really like a lot of lack in the understanding of what you put in yourself has a lot to do with like how you feel. And I feel like, I mean, I don't know the answer, but I think a progressive solution to being able to like target these families or target, you know, the Black community for having these imbalances is maybe just being able to root the actual problem in itself, and like you said, like creating consistent counseling with this, or creating some type of service that is advertised through the news or media outlet that is able to be like, here, like just with what you're saying, like a service for your clients. Like I'm thinking like, I mean, people really need like yearly plans for being able to follow through with being able to come back to having conscious health. So I don't know if that speaks to that.
I love that. Anybody in the panel else want to tackle that?
Well, look, I'm speaking out of turn because this is not my area of expertise, but my sister is a practicing OB in Illinois and does a lot of work around access to care and maternal health, which just makes me think that the other side of the equation here is healthcare professionals and their willingness to receive communities of color. We talk about access, you know, the sort of 1 to 100,000, I can't remember the exact figure, but when you sort of look at practitioners of color who may be the key to paving the way to making it more normal to receive care. My sense is, maybe you can speak to this, that there are even fewer psychiatrists, psychologists of color there to support communities like this.
Well, and then there's not, it doesn't make any money. I mean, that's the sad truth.
Come on.
You know what I mean? Like, and if you think about it, and this is why I said to you, the question that I had posed to you about this being like a volatile climate right now, a lot of the policies are not written in favor of supporting minorities through these situations. It's mental health, the crisis in the minority communities is affecting everything. And it just doesn't, and it doesn't make money. And that's why Nationwide Children's has been, the CEO was just like looked at crazy, because they're like, how in the world are you gonna sink this kind of money into mental health care, behavioral health care, when it doesn't make money? And he looked at them and he says, I don't care if it doesn't make money. He says, because when he has to walk through the emergency department and see these children who have tried to kill themselves because of an undiagnosed mental illness, or in particular, these girls who are suffering, like who look like skin and bones because they're suffering, because in their brain they are scared to eat. Like, to see that. And so it's just, it's the whole thing about it doesn't make the hospitals money, you know what I mean? There's just not a lot of support in the insurance industry for it. Like, we're gonna cover this amount or that amount, and then that's it. And then you have to go to the providers that we select. And if we don't like that provider, or we don't choose to work with that provider, and what if you like them? So, and then, yeah, I mean, it's just, and in the minority communities, they just don't have great health care.
Wow. Thank you. It's a big topic to cover, and we're gonna do one Collaborate and Elevate just on that topic, because it's a strong topic. How many agree with that, right? Do one whole topic on that, right? So we're gonna put that in the docket for next year. I got one more question. Does somebody have one more question for the panel? Just one more. Anybody? Yes.
All right. Not to just keep it on the topic, but kind of around it. I hear that we're talking a lot about mental health and how you have to wake up every day and deal with these type of things. My question to y'all is, I know we all have days that aren't the best days, and we always have rough days where we have to work through them, because you still have these goals in mind, you still have these things that you have to do. So my question is, what do y'all do for self-love or self-care for those moments? Yeah.
Yeah, I dance. That's really it. I really love
Woo!
to dance.
I like that answer.
And so to segue from the previous comment, I was thinking, like, why invest in people who can't give anything to you? Like, the thing is, everyone has light inside of them. So I feel that light the most when I'm on the dance floor. And I've been involved in the underground hip-hop dance scene in Columbus.
Uh-oh.
So
Uh-oh, put some music on. Let's see that.
I just want to ask if you've ever seen a dance cipher. So if you've seen like the Step Up movies, right? This is a real thing. So when I'm in the midst of a dance cipher, like the whole point is about keeping the energy up. Like if somebody steps out, you have to step in because you don't want that moment to stop.
Can we have another Collaborate and Elevate just on that?
Yes, yes.
No. Like,
and we're going to see you
moved the
dance.
furniture.
I've written a
Can we
lot
please
about
do
it.
that?
There's a lot to say, because just want to say hip-hop is like the corporate bureaucracy. Like at the time I was having the most difficulty with that world, I was working in anesthesiology research at OSU, and it just made my heart hurt to see like, this is hard, like I don't have a voice, there's all these unspoken rules, all I want to do is like succeed and help people, and that's not happening here. Okay, so there's a lot to say about that, but anyways, the reason to, I think, give to others is to help bring out that light, because everyone deserves and should be able to feel vital. And so that's just stupid. Like, why can't people see that? Because in the end, those people are going to give back so much just by feeling full and vibrant and able to be themselves and be creative and be expressive. So I think that it's people who have money that have the ability to give so freely that they let others who are withheld with resources or whatever from their own compassion to be able to see that. So My self-care is dance. And if you ever want to do that with me, let me know.
Uh-oh.
That's really
We
fun.
got hands raised back here.
Sure. Before I talk about my self-care, I just want to give a shout out to Brittany because everyone needs to know her. Because Brittany actually taught me how to sell at trade shows. So I just wanted to publicly acknowledge her for being the queen that she is. She's amazing. Self-care. So I have a 4-year-old daughter. And if you watch my Instagram stories, she makes fairly regular appearances because what we do is when Daddy says it's time to go to bed, she sneaks into my bedroom and we watch YouTube videos and we play with makeup. That's what we do. There's glitter that happens. There's, fake eyelashes stuck to foreheads and a lot of, weird hairstyles. But it's a way that I get to practice and spend time with my daughter and really live in this spirit of community that is created through beauty and pass that along to her.
I exercise. If it's not too cold, I like to walk outside. There's something about nature that really just makes me surrender to the fact that there's something greater than me. And I take a nap. And if you went to my first real talk series of vulnerability, that's what I said. I was like, never underestimate the power of a great nap. And it is true because whenever I'm upset, and scientifically it is true, sleep does reset the brain. And I cry if I feel like I need to cry, because that also resets the brain. And I am forever writing. Writing for me is my therapy, and I just purchased this 5-minute journal. And I actually just wrote a blog about it, and it is a gratitude journal, and it is guided, and it is amazing. And I did this consistently. I'm a little off on my schedule, so I got to get back on it. But I will tell you, the week and a half that I was consistently journaling morning and night about things that I was grateful for, that attitude of gratitude literally is the gateway to happiness. Mm-hmm. I promise you, when you begin to focus on the things that you have and that are well in your life, and what's not right, it makes all the difference.
Let's give these women a clap. I don't want you to leave yet, though. Adiya, I'm going to start with you. Tell them where they can buy your product. I'm going to plug it in. I'm here. We're going to sell.
All right, let's sell it. You can find UB at loveub.com. That's LOVEYUBI.com.
And back there in the table,
wasn't
there
gonna
are some
say
shirts. And I'm telling you, I'm selling for y'all. There's some shirts and some hats. Lift them up, please, Watia. Look at Watia's right there. The sweaters are dope. Christmas is coming up. Be free, be you. I love that saying. I actually got that pink shirt right there. That's me. I wear that. I rock that authentic shirt. I got that. So someone else get it.
Can I say something real quick about the Be Free, Be You? I do have to say this. This is just a shameless plug, okay? So you guys know who Mike Conley is? Basketball player? He was wearing my shirt.
Rock it. Be free, be you.
So if all y'all want to be like Mike Conley, go ahead and get that shirt.
I want to be like Mike.
I want to be like Mike.
Come on.
Give
these ladies a hand clap. Come on. Thank you, ladies. Awesome. Sam, you're amazing. Adiya, you're amazing. All right, listen. I know we only got a couple of minutes. We're not going to give a break. I'm telling you, if you want a break, you're going to have to leave if you're going to miss it. But the next two fellas that are coming.